Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and I've got a very urgent report to share with you guys, and that is this. Nazi Germany's style of papers, please, has just arrived in the United States of America. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about the Biden administration now developing standards to prove that you have been vaccinated here in the United States of America. Not only that, but Biden is taking the cue from the World Health Organization, which is heading up this entire vaccine passport effort as a global initiative. This sounds eerily similar to New World Order style policies and would basically implement a global ID, something that is called for in Agenda 2030 as part of the 17 goals of sustainable development, goal 16.9, which says we shall all have a national ID. And this will lead directly into that. And right now, New York has become the testing ground for this new vaccine passport, which they're calling Excelsior Passport. But before I get into the report, just a quick break. What will you do during the next power grid failure? What will happen if the weather is so bad that you can't make it to the grocery store? Do you have enough food at home to get you through the next disaster? You will if you stock up on emergency storage food supply at My Patriot Supply at preparewithlisa.com. Their food stays fresh for up to 25 years, so it's ready for you and your family whenever you need it. Not only that, but right now, if you go to preparewithlisa.com, they are giving $50 off of the 4-week food supply kit. But if you need even more food than that, then there's also a 3-month food supply kit that you can get $200 off of by going to preparewithlisa.com. Now, the great part about this food storage is it provides up to 2,000 calories per day, and it ships directly to your door within days after ordering it. People used to laugh at preppers, but not anymore. After seeing what happened with the power grid failure, COVID-19, and what's going on right now with the economy, preppers are looking pretty dang good. And right now is a great time to provide for your family and make sure that you're not a victim of disaster when it strikes. All you have to do to take advantage of this limited time offer is to get on over to preparewithlisa.com. And here's the actual website. And again, a quick recap, $50 off the 4-week food supply kit. But if your family needs a little more food, then take advantage of $200 off that 3-month food supply. And also, all the food is grown and packed in the United States of America, and there are no MSGs added into it. But here's just a sneak peek of some of the products you will get: breakfasts, lunch, dinner, snacks, as well as desserts there. So take advantage of everything they have to offer at preparewithlisa.com. All right, back to the broadcast. All right, so let's first dive into the Biden administration and what they are doing right now. Take a look at this article on Communist News Network, also known as CNN.com. Biden administration helping develop standards to prove vaccination. Now, the article goes on to state that the Biden administration is working on creating a set of standards for people to prove that they've been vaccinated against COVID-19, according to administration officials. The officials said they're currently working with a range of companies on the standards, including nonprofit and tech companies, adding that they are likely still weeks away from being finalized, the official said. Multiple government agencies are engaged in conversations and planning coordinated by the White House, as this kind of system will play a role in multiple aspects of your life, including potentially the workforce, another senior administration told CNN. President Joe Biden has predicted that life in the U.S. could be back to normal by Christmas. They keep extending that. And as more Americans are vaccinated every day, these vaccine credentials, commonly called vaccine passports, could be the key to returning to normalcy by the end of the year. Some sectors, meanwhile, like the travel industry, have clamored for a uniform system to be developed as they seek to return to normal. Governments around the world may seek proof of vaccination before foreigners can enter borders again. Now, this administration's plans were first reported by the Washington Post. And here's the actual Washington Post article, so you can see that there. Vaccine passports are on the way, but developing them, they said, will not be be easy. White House-led efforts tries to corral more than a dozen initiatives. Now, here's the thing. There's a lot of privacy concerns with this thing that really have to be considered. And I think people in Congress really need to look into aspects of that, because I think a lot of Americans may not be happy with something like this hitting the United States of America. But let's go on over to what's happening in New York. Take a look at this article on Business Insider on MSN.com. New York has launched a COVID-19 digital vaccination passport that will let people attend concerts and sporting games. Madison Square Garden is among the venues using it right now. The article goes on to state that New York has launched a digital vaccine passport so people can prove that they have the vaccine. And they're calling it the Excelsior Pass, which lets people go to events with more people than the state's social gathering limits. In other words, you can be allowed in certain venues if you've either gotten the vaccine or tested negative for COVID. And this is the kind of thing they're now implementing in New York City. And it sounds eerily similar to what you heard on, what is it, Casablanca? Papers, please, before you can pass or before you can be allowed to do venues. Goes on, the 20,000 seat Madison Square Garden, or 17,500 seat Times Union Center in Albany will use the pass. New York on Friday launched an app that lets people prove they have been fully vaccinated against coronavirus or have recently tested negative. The new Excelsior Pass will let people go to weddings, sports, arenas, and entertainment venues that host more people than the state's social gathering limit of 10 people indoors and 25 people outdoors, New York State announced in a press release, right? So no going to weddings, no going to sports arenas unless you have your COVID vaccine Excelsior Pass. The 20,000-seat Madison Square Garden in New York City and the 1,700-seat Times Union Center in Albany have already announced they will be using the app in the coming weeks, according to New York State's statement. Smaller event venues in state will also be able to use the pass from April 2nd. New York is the first state to offer this digital vaccination passport app. It held 2 pilot tests and a beta test of the pass over the past 2 weeks. Now, the app was developed by IBM. I did an entire report on this on Restricted Republic, and it works kind of something like an airline boarding pass. Now, let's get on over to this Excelsior Pass website so you can see the website, because this is where people in New York have to go and get their pass. So you see right here in the front, be a part of New York's safe reopening. Excelsior Pass provides a free, fast, and secure way to present digital proof of COVID vaccination or a negative test result. Now, here's the actual overview of it. In order to get back to your favorite businesses and venues, like, they could use it for anything, folks. They really could. Going to concerts, going to theaters, getting a job, traveling on a plane, getting on a cruise. You want to do any of that, you have to fill in the blank. I heard something like this in Bible prophecy. You can't buy, sell, or trade without it. Now, obviously, the money has not been linked to something like this, but in the future, could it be? Right? Just a question I'm throwing out there. But you have to have one of these that either prove you've been vaccinated or have a negative test result. To attend sporting events, arts performances, and more, Excelsior Pass supports a safe reopening of New York by providing free, fast, and secure way to present digital proof of COVID vaccination or a negative test result. Think of it as a mobile airline boarding pass, but providing you received a COVID vaccination or negative test. You can store your pass digitally on your smartphone, right? With the Excelsior Pass wallet app available for free from the App Store and Google Play, right? It goes on to say that they can validate it when you come in to do their venue. And it goes on and just kind of gives a little more information. But here's what you do. In order to sign up for this thing, you go, let's get started. And here it says, are you eligible to get the pass, right? Here's the qualifications that you need. You may receive a pass if you have not tested positive for COVID-19 within the past 10 days, and either you have been fully vaccinated, so it's full vaccination there, and it has been 14 days or longer since your final shot, or you've had a PCR test administered with the state of New York in the last 3 days and the result was negative, or you had an antigen test administered in the state of New York in the last 6 hours and the result was negative. So there's the guidelines to allow you back in society. But what really, who's the driving force behind this? Well, the World Health Organization. We know President Trump defunded the World Health Organization. Joe Biden jumped back in on the bandwagon. And now we are getting the directive from the World Health Organization telling all the countries of the world that we need to implement this passport. And here it is, Smart Vaccination Certificate Working Group. And this is the working group who is behind it and kind of working and what they're seeking to achieve, right? They're looking for consensus, common standards all across the globe. They want to align their efforts across the globe, guidance and member states to facilitate, and the objective, all the objectives here. And you can see their little certificates, their online stuff, their vaccine passports, if you will. And this is the global initiative. And folks, it's already happening on a global scale. It's just hit the United States of America. Here we have BBC.com. COVID-19 pubs could require vaccine passports just to go to a pub. And if we are exempt and think it's only going to be New York City, I think we're wrong on that aspect. I think it'll spread. And there's real questions of privacy and freedom rights in regards to that. And not only that, but this is also on the BBC, we have Ian Brown steps down from festival over vaccine. What did he do? Well, singer Ian Brown was pulled out of a festival appearance over his refusal to play events that accept vaccine proof as a condition of entry. So we have that kind of stuff going on all across the globe. Anyhow, I'd love to get your input on all of this. Please comment below. Thanks again for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.